So here we are in AutoCAD 2021. We're in a typical drawing, some dimensions, some lines, arcs, etc. Now what we're going to look at is customizing our AutoCAD interface a little bit. We're going to look at customizing the cursor and the crosshairs mainly. And there's our little crosshair moving around, and as you can see it's made up of a crosshair and a pickbox. Now, did you know that your crosshair is set to a default size? You can make it bigger, you can make it smaller. If I right click and go to options, for example, and what I can do here in the display tab in the dialog box is go to crosshair size. I can just double click in there and give it a value. You'll notice the default value is 5. I can drag the slider and make it bigger. If I take it all the way to the right there, it makes it 100% of my screen size, and you can see that the cursor size system variable controls it. So if I now apply that and OK that, you can see now that my crosshair fills the whole of the drawing area on my AutoCAD screen. Now, it's not something that I like personally, and I find it a little bit obtrusive. It kind of gets in the way, but whatever floats your boat. If you want it that big and you want it to fill the drawing area, it's entirely up to you. Now, what you can also do is change the color and the size of the pickbox as well. So if I right click now and go back to options again, options is where you set all this stuff, and go to display here and click on colors, I can now change the color of my crosshairs. So it's 2D model space context, interface element crosshairs, color. Click on the flyout, set it to magenta, apply and close, and then I simply OK that in the options dialog box, and now it's a nice magenta color as well. Now that's lovely, and what I can do there is go back to options and change that color if I need to. We'll touch on that in a moment. Now the pickbox itself is quite tiny, but you can make that bigger. Now you'll notice the pickbox is what highlights my AutoCAD object, so I can hover over any object and you'll see that it highlights when the pickbox is there. Now sometimes people like that pickbox to be a little bit bigger, to be less accurate, so that they can highlight objects quicker and easier. Again, right click, options on the shortcut menu, and we're going to now go to selection here, and there's our pickbox size there. I can use the slider like that and make it really big. When I OK that now, you'll see I've got this huge pickbox. Can you see? And as I hover, it's kind of like one of those sort of sights that you might have on one of those Xbox games where you're moving around and targeting things and all that kind of stuff. Now, obviously, it's kind of big, kind of magenta, and the crosshairs kind of fill the screen. Not what ideally I would like to see on my AutoCAD screen. But bear in mind, the pickbox variable can be changed. You've just got to type pickbox. So if I type pickbox like that and press enter, you can see at the moment it's 20. The default value for that is 3. If I put 3 in there and press enter, it's back to its original size, like so. And then to change the color and to put the crosshairs back to where they need to go, it's a right click, options, like so, and we go back to the display tab. Let's go to colors first, and I select crosshairs, and the good thing is I don't even have to remember the original color, because all I've got to do is restore current element. That brings it back. It goes to white, like so. I apply and close, and then all I've got to do there is click on OK, and you can see it's back to the color. Now, it did say white, but that's because my background is white. AutoCAD automatically makes my crosshair black. If I had a dark background, the crosshair would be white on the background. AutoCAD does that for you automatically, so don't stress about that one. And then last but not least, my crosshairs need to go back to 5. So it's a right click, back to options again on the shortcut menu, crosshair size here, I can simply type in 5. I don't need to worry about the slider this time. I can OK that, and hey ho, look at that. We're back to our original crosshairs as they were before we started. So as you can see, you can customize your interface really quickly and easily in AutoCAD just by using some of the settings in the options dialog box and changing your display colors as well. Obviously that huge magenta pickbox with the crosshairs filling the screen was not ideal, but I was taking that to a little bit of an extreme for you, just so you kind of get the differences you can make to your interface in AutoCAD.